Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to our Institution of Global Professionals free webinar. Thank you all for joining us in this wonderful evening. I am Sir Jason S. Yumang, a licensed professional teacher, currently teaching at Calantete National High School from the beautiful country of the Philippines. And I will be your host for today. I am proud to be associated with IGP as a global member. I feel really honored and privileged to host this webinar. And it's also my delight to welcome you all in this institution of global professional free webinar. Again, I thank you all for joining us today in this marvelous evening, and it's my humble request and pleasure that you will stay with us until the end. For I'm sure you will all have many takeaways and payoffs from this webinar. Because each time, you can like, comment, and even tag, share, and mention your friends in the comment box. So let's watch together and learn together because we believe that the power is gained by sharing knowledge. Every day, some new participants join with us on our free webinars. So I have to give a little concept about what an IGP is all about. Institution of Global Professionals, or IGP, serves student and community resource, providing social work and education to create a proficient generation. IGP is a leading online skill development institute with thousands of learners worldwide. We are able to share information useful to expand knowledge, boost confidence to face any circumstance, and most importantly, to develop own skills. We entrusted with international recognition. IGP also provides social works. We believe that it's not effective to increase one's skills just by acquiring formal education. And so, we provide effective training and consultation to generate proficient generation all over the world. IGP also organizes webinars, trainings, offline and online courses by the best and trained speakers, coaches from the entire world to create a best learning platform for you all. Our mission is to empower people and to provide each student a solid foundation of knowledge and skills to help them become a confident learner. And now we have successfully completed 291 webinars successfully. We expect that you are getting benefited in personal and professional life, and we wish that you all remain with us all throughout this journey. Before we begin, let me remind you once again, our lovely audience, to share, tag, comment, and mention your friends in the comment box because your attachment encourages us to do better and provide our best services to you all. And now, I am really excited to present to you our webinar number 292 for our topic, Becoming by Overcoming. And our speakers for today are Sir Oliver C. Marcel and Sir Eric Hayes from the United States of America. Unfortunately, Sir Sylvester Jenkins III can't make it today because he's having a fever. So may you feel better soon, sir. So let's start our program with IGP's mantra, feed your skill. Our first speaker is an author, speaker, and a coach. Ladies and gentlemen, let's now put our hands together as we welcome on the screen Sir Oliver C. Marcel.
Thank you, Sir Jay.
Hello, how are you doing, sir?
I am well. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great too, sir. Thank you so much for asking. I'm actually excited to be honest and kind of curious on our topic, becoming by overcoming. Um,
Yes.
but I think for me, it's like in order for you to become the person you wanted to be, then you must overcome probably your fears, right?
Mhm.
So, because I was trying to internalize earlier what is becoming by overcoming is all about. So, yeah, I think for me, in order for you to like become the best version of yourself, probably you must overcome your fears. You must probably overcome your inhibitions as well, and those things that are probably bothering you. So I
Yes.
think you all just have to recognize that you are self-sufficient and probably continue to work hard and look ahead. And I think
You're
in
right.
that way, yeah, you can meet becoming by overcoming.
You
So like
listen,
anyway,
you teed it up perfectly.
thank you so much, sir. Anyway, if you are ready on your presentation, Sir
Yes.
Oliver, then take it away.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Sir Jay. Thank you so much for the
All right, you're
opportunity.
welcome, sir.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. Listen, for those of you, they already said, Sir Jay already said, make sure that you're sharing this. I see some folk welcoming me. Thank you so much for welcoming me in the comments. Make sure that you share this because here's the thing. I'm gonna kind of set the stage for some things that Eric is gonna come up and say behind me. But Sir Jay, you said it perfectly. In order to become whatever it is that you're trying to become, because all of us are striving to do something, right? And if you feel like sharing, you can tell me in the chat. What is something that you want to do in this next year that's coming up? All of us want to become something, become a better person, become a better professional, become more educated, whatever it is. All of those things that you want to become, all need to follow overcoming something, like Sergey said, either your fears or your inhibitions or anything of that nature. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today. And what I'm going to talk about comes straight out of a book that I wrote. And so that's why you see this on the screen, called Overcoming the Man Laws. Now, this is not just for men, this is for everyone, but a lot of this information is going to come out of that. So let's jump right in, tell you a little bit about who I am. And but first, before I tell you a little bit about who I am, I want everybody to send love and prayers and good vibes and good energy to our friend Sylvester Jenkins. He's not feeling well and he's recovering. And so I want you to share some good vibes and prayers for our friend Sylvester Jenkins that won't be with us today. So shout out to Sylvester, great guy. We hoping you get better soon. So, a little bit about me. I am an author. I'm a speaker. I am a relationship coach. And here's the whole goal. The whole goal is I share my journey of self-discovery in a lot of different areas so that I can do what is on my t-shirt. I can help people achieve 2020 before hindsight. It's my goal to get people to hear my story and learn from my mistakes so that they can get some level of clarity, so that they can now begin to overcome. And essentially, as you begin to overcome, you start to become. So here's what you can expect from me today. I'm going to talk about the discovery that I made. There's a discovery that I made that I think applies to everybody that's listening, everybody that's watching. I made a discovery about myself that I know applies to everybody. And I'm going to share that discovery with you. And then I'm going to share with you 3 ways that you can start the process of overcoming whatever it is that you need to overcome so that you can become the thing that the person that you want to become. All right. So let's jump right in. As you can see on the screen, this is a picture of me at 19 years old. Listen, I already hear some of you laughing. I can hear it. I can hear some of you laughing already, but that's okay. I was cool back in 1989, right? So listen, back then I was just getting into college. I was just at my first year in college, coming out of my first year in college. And I went to college with all of these hopes and dreams. I had all of these visions of things that I wanted to become, the person that I wanted to be, the person, I had all these dreams. I want to live this way. I want to make this amount of money. I want to get this amount of education. And there were some things that happened in my life that were out of my control. And those things caused me to make some terrible decisions during this period of time that you see. I made some bad mistakes, made some bad choices in my education, made some bad choices with my friends, made some bad choices with the people that I hung out with, and some of the things that I got involved in, and some of the habits that I formed. And those things sent me down a path that was opposite to the dreams and goals that I had when I first stepped onto that college campus. So now I'm going through all of these things that are happening to me. I'm wondering, man, why is my life falling apart? Why are all of these things taking place that I don't want them to take place in my life. I actually started to lose hope. My dreams were being crushed. I'm like, man, I'm never going to become these things that I need to become. Has anybody ever felt that way? If you felt that way, put a number one in the chat. If you've ever went through an experience and you're like, man, I don't think I'm gonna make it through this experience. I know there's somebody who can feel what I'm saying because I talk to people all the time who have been through those types of things where they've made choices, they've made bad decisions, and now they're like, man, how can I ever become what I wanted to become? I see some ones in the chat, and so I know people are understanding and feeling me, right? But here's the thing. Even though all of those things happen, I went through life and I wore this badge of honor kind of hurt and of despair and of depression. And then one day I discovered something. And I told you I was going to share something with you that I discovered that I know applies to everybody in this space right now. Here's the thing that I discovered. I discovered that I have a purpose, I have a path, and I have a passion. And if you don't get anything out of this, I haven't even shared the three things yet, but if you don't get anything out of this experience today, I need you to walk away from this understanding this discovery. You have a purpose, you have a path, and you have a passion. Now, here's what it's going to take to get there. In order to overcome some things and in order to become the thing that you or the person that you want to be, you're going to have to use a little bit of persistence as it relates to how you go through this, right? So understand this. You have a purpose, a passion, and a path. You may not believe that you do right now, but I'm telling you, I'm here to tell you that you do. And you can discover what it is with a little bit of persistence. So let's dive into the three things that you can do. And there's more than three, but here's three things that you can begin to do that will help you to start to overcome whatever the things are that you need to overcome. For me, I had to overcome hurt. I had to overcome massive disappointment. There were some things that I thought I was going to happen, that I was going to do in college that never happened. There were some things that I thought I was going to do as an adult that I failed miserably at. So I had to overcome disappointment. I had to overcome fear, like Sir Jay said. I had to overcome the fact that I didn't even believe that I could do certain things, that I could even become. Because I had gone through these disappointments, I was at the point where I was like, man, I don't even think I can become the thing that I want to become. I don't think I can be a great guy. I don't think I can be a great husband, a great father. But here are three things that I did, and three things I believe that if you start doing and start internalizing, you can start overcoming and then you can become. Here's the first thing. The first thing is that your mindset has to change. Now, I know everybody's heard some things about mindset, and there's a lot of talk about mindset and a lot of talk about mindfulness. I want you to type the word mindset in the comments. The first thing you got to do is you got to change your mindset. You have to begin to think differently. Once I discovered that I have a purpose, a path, and a passion, I had to start changing my mindset. I had to stop thinking negatively. I had to stop looking at everything with a pessimistic mindset. I had to change my mindset. I had to start believing that I even had the ability to overcome. And because I had the ability to overcome, now it could help me do some different things, right? Everybody's heard this phrase, excuse me, everybody's heard this phrase, this phrase that says, if you do the same thing expecting different results, that's the definition of insanity, right? And for years, I was doing the same thing, but I kept asking the question, why is my life not working out the way that I want it to? But I never changed my mindset. I always looked at things different differently than how I wanted them to be. I had a terrible mindset. I had a depressed mindset. I had a disappointment mindset. So the first thing that I need you to do is begin to think differently. Albert Einstein says that we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking that we use to create them. Listen, this statement is about me. I did some things. Now, there were some things that were out of my control, but there are also some things that I did, some choices that I made. And in order to undo those choices, in order to overcome those things, the bad decisions, the bad financial decisions, the bad social decisions, the bad academic decisions, in order to overcome those, I had to use different thinking. And so that's why mindset is so very, very important. Make sure that you are thinking about the things that you want to do and start visualizing yourself as that thing. If you want to be a great speaker, visualize yourself as a great speaker. If you want to be a great mentor, visualize yourself as a mentor. Start thinking that way. If you want to be a great father, if you want to be a great mother, if you want to be a great teacher, whatever it is that you are trying to become, you have to begin to start thinking that way. You can't say, "Oh, this is never going to happen to me. Oh, I always fail at this." That is going to keep you exactly where you are. You're never going to be able to overcome, much less become something else, right? So the first thing that you have to do is change your mindset. Now, let me share something with you. There's something very important about changing your mindset, and that is, in order to change your mindset and it be effective, your behavior also has to change. Let me tell you a mistake that I made. People who know me know that I often use myself as an example, right? So I started to do that. The very thing that I just told you to do. I started to think differently. I started to say, okay, you know what? I could do better. I could be a better person. Yeah, I could see myself doing certain things. But guess what I did not do? The mistake that I made was I didn't change my behavior. Somebody type behavior in the comments. I didn't change my behavior. I started thinking different, but I started doing the same thing. I kept doing the same things, the same actions, the same behaviors. I stayed hanging out with the same people. I didn't change my friends. I didn't change my environment. I didn't change the actions that I was doing, right? My behavior wasn't changing. And so without behavior change without mindset change is not sustainable. If you change your mindset, but you don't start doing some things differently, you're not going to be able to overcome what it is that you want to overcome. So that's the caveat with changing your mindset. In changing your mindset, you also need to start doing some things differently. When I realized that, there were some friends I had to give up. And so I had to give up those friends because they weren't moving in the direction of becoming the thing that or person that I wanted to become. So I had to change some friends. I had to change my environment. Matter of fact, I picked up my family and moved across the country. I moved from Michigan back to Maryland in the United States to get a change of environment because I had to change some behaviors and I had to do some things differently. I had to hang out with different people. Here's a statement that somebody told me a long time ago that stuck with me. You are the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most. So think about that. If you're trying to overcome something, if you're trying to become something, who's in your circle? Who are the people that are in your circle that you trust, that you talk to, that you lean on, that you listen to? If those people aren't helping you to overcome and helping you to become, they don't belong in your circle. So the first thing is that you got to change your mindset, and you have to, along with changing your mindset, change your behavior. That's number one. Here's the second thing that I suggest that you do and that I had to do. I had to realize that those changes in behavior that I was making, those adjustments that I was making, they weren't a threat to my authenticity. So there were some changes that I was afraid to make. I'll be quite honest, because I was saying to myself, man, am I still going to be the same person? Are people still going to accept me? Are people going to appreciate me still? Are they going to like me? I feel like these changes are going to change me as a person, and I'm afraid to change as a person. But let me share something with you. In order to overcome, you're going to have to make adjustments. There's no two ways about it. You have to make adjustments. If you want to become something, you're going to have to make adjustments. And here's the thing I need you to understand. You can still be the same person that you are right now. You can be that fun-loving person. You can be that happy-go-lucky person. You can be that person who is the life of the party. You can be that person who is who likes to be by themselves or who likes to be a homebody. You can still be who you are because the adjustments that you make are not going to be a threat to your authenticity. They're not going to change you. Adjustments are simply to help you to overcome whatever you're trying to overcome so that you can become what you want to become. Let me give you an example that I give all the time. I don't know how many people are basketball fans. Maybe more people are soccer fans that are football fans that are watching right now. But let's say basketball. I'm a basketball fan, so I'm an NBA fan. Let's say that a coach tells one of the players on the team, let's say it's the point guard, tells the point guard, "Hey, I want you to change the way that you're guarding this particular individual." Now, did he change the person's position? Is this guy no longer a point guard? Of course not. He's simply asking as a coach for you to make some adjustments so that you have a better chance to win the game. So adjustments are not a threat to your authenticity. Adjustments help you to be able to overcome whatever you're overcoming and become whatever you need to become. So here's some adjustments that I had to make. I had to start again, going back to what I said before. A big adjustment was I had to change the people in my circle. Another adjustment was that I had to realize that I was being really selfish about a lot of things. And I had to start becoming unselfish. I had to start caring about other people more than I cared about myself. That was an adjustment that I had to make. And quite honestly, I was afraid to make that adjustment because I was afraid that if I started caring about other people, my needs wouldn't get met. So I was afraid that, hey, if I start caring about all these other folks, my needs won't get met. But I had to make that adjustment. I had to get over some fears. Sergey talked about getting over fear. I had to get over some fears. There were some things that I never wanted to try. There were some people I never wanted to talk to, some chances that I never wanted, some risk that I never wanted to take because I was afraid that I would fail. And I didn't want to look like a failure. But I had to make that adjustment. I had to make the adjustment to go past my fear, to start asking people questions and to start doing things. So those are two things so far. One, change your mindset. Two, recognize that adjustments are not a threat to your authenticity. And the third one is the biggest one. The third one is shadow your future. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm going to give you a 4-step process to shadowing your future. It's important that once you change your mindset, once you start to change your behavior, once you start to make those adjustments, and you start to walk down this path of overcoming, here's what you have to do. You have to now get in a place where you can see the things that you want to accomplish. You can learn from the people who are doing those things. They give you an opportunity to train and to try those things, and you get to execute. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Here's the 4-step process: observation, training, execution, and feedback. There's a guy that I love dearly. He's probably my favorite person in the entire world. His name is Dr. Anthony Kelly. He's no longer alive. He was the guy who married my wife and I. I was able to watch him. I was able to observe him. He was one of the greatest husbands that I know, one of the greatest fathers that I know. I wanted to be a great husband and a great father like him. So I watched him. I observed him. Who do you know that you can observe that is the thing that you're trying to become? So if you're trying to become a great teacher, who's a great teacher that you know that you can observe? If you're trying to become a great speaker, who's a great speaker that you can observe? If you're trying to become a great writer, if you're trying to become a professional sports player, who's somebody that you can observe? And then that will allow you to train, will allow you to do some things, allow you to do those things and give you some guidance as you go through those things. And then once you have enough training, I used to have a job as a as a communications specialist for a strategic communications team. When I first got that position, I had to observe the communications director, literally walk around, watch how she was in meetings, watch how she conducted herself, watch how she wrote certain briefs and certain documents. And then I began to train. They allowed me to do some of those meetings and allowed me to write some of those briefs, but she was over my shoulder watching me. Then at some point, she said, "You know what? You're ready to go. You can do this on your own. So here's your office. Here are the things that you need. Go forth and execute." And that was my time now to become the thing that I wanted to become. Right. And then you got to get some feedback. So once I did a couple briefs, she would come back to me and say, "Hey, this was a great job. You did a great job here." Or, "Hey, you did a great job, but let's try doing this a little bit differently." So here's the thing, this is very important. As you're overcoming and becoming, you have to find yourself in a place and with people who will allow you to go through this process, allow you to observe them, allow you to train with them. And then when you're ready to go, you can execute and then they can get some feedback from you. And I want to throw in a bonus here. Let me throw in a bonus. And here's the bonus. When you when you go through this process, you're going to start to overcome some things and you're going to start to become what you want to become. I challenge you to take somebody else through that process because as we overcome, it doesn't mean anything if we're not willing to share it. You see what my t-shirt says, 2020 before hindsight. My whole goal and vision is to share my journey so that other people won't have to go through as much pain and disappointment as I went through. So as you begin to overcome, as you begin to change your mindset, as you begin to make adjustments, as you begin to go through the 4-step framework of observation, training, execution, and feedback, and you start to see yourself overcoming and becoming what you want to be, find somebody else that you can help do that as well, right? It's so important. So here is the wrap up as I'm about to close. You need to recognize that you have a purpose, a passion, and a path. You got to recognize that and you got to believe it in order for you to begin to overcome. And then as you go from overcoming to becoming, you need to change your mindset. You need to change your behavior along with your mindset. You need to make the proper adjustments that are necessary and you need to shadow your future. It's so important that you are doing those things. And listen, I'm not saying that everything will be fine right away, but I'm saying that this will help you go down the path to overcoming the things that you need to overcome. I'm not going to ask you to put in the chat what you need to overcome. Many of us have different things that we need to overcome. Overcome fear, overcome anger, overcome depression, overcome the fear of failure, overcome whatever it is we need to overcome. I believe that if you begin to do these things, changing your mindset, knowing that you have a purpose, that you are important, that you have been created and put on this earth for a specific reason. I believe that that will get you down the path to overcoming and then becoming what you need to become. So listen, I know that this is a quick version of this and I would love to connect with you guys further and have all of you as a part of my community so we could talk more about this overcoming and becoming. So please connect with me. You can connect with me on Instagram. You see it there on the screen. Connect with me at the website or on YouTube. And just listen, guys, I can't tell you enough. I am living proof that if you walk through these things and if you're intentional, you will begin to overcome and become the person that you were intended to be for this earth. Okay. So I want to leave you with that. If you want to hear more about my story and the things that I had to overcome in order to become a better man, become a better husband, become a better father, you can get this book as well and give you some ideas and give you a little bit more about the story of overcoming in order to become. Thank you so much for your time, Sir Jays. Back to you.
All right, so thank you so much, Sir Oliver. I am so speechless right now. That was really amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Right, yes. We are really grateful to you, sir, for sharing your marvelous presentation today. Like, to be honest, I personally learned a lot from you, and I'm really inspired from your life changing experiences you imparted with us today.
Thank
But
you.
actually, I totally agree when you said that we have to change our mindset and our behaviors and do something differently in order to become, for us to become something. And one thing that really actually stuck in my mind is was the quotation you shared with us that says, um, "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them."
Yes.
Right? So, and I agree because if we'll be stagnant in our situation without making any solutions and adjustments, then we can't be somebody that we wanted to be.
Correct.
And I will always remember the three formulas you had given to us: change your mindset, shadow your future, and adjustments are not a threat to your authenticity.
Yes. And that
All
has
right.
helped me. That's helped me a lot in my life.
All right. We'll always remember that, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so once again, thank you so much, Sir Oliver, for sharing your life-changing experiences with us. So, like, no doubt, our viewers learned so much from your interesting stories, beautiful insights, and most importantly, the takeaway information you instilled in our minds. So, once again, thank you, sir, for sharing with us not just your knowledge, but most importantly, your valuable time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much once again, Sir Oliver.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay. So I guess it's now time for us to move on our next speaker, right? So he is a teacher and a motivational speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up to Sir Eric Hayes from the United States of America. Sir Eric. So while we are waiting to Sir Eric, once again, may I request you all, our valued viewers, to please support IGP. So, like, once again, all you just have to do is to share, tag, comment, and mention your friends. We will give e-certificate link in the comment box later on. And if you face any problem, we can collect e-certificates directly on our website, www.eduigp.com. So our next speaker is again Sir Eric Hayes from the United States of America. He is a
Hey,
teacher and as well as a motivational speaker. There you have it.
there we
So
go. What
how
we
are
got to
you
fix?
doing, sir?
We're figuring out, Sir Jay. How you doing?
I am doing good. Like, I've been actually enjoying the discussion so far. I
Yeah.
learned so much from the presentation of Sir Oliver, but but don't worry, sir. I'm not putting any pressure on your shoulder because I'm
Yeah.
pretty
No.
sure that we're gonna learn
No
so much
worries.
more from you as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sir Jay, I
Okay.
heard that you're
So
from the
anyway,
Philippines, correct?
um,
My mother-in-law is from
yes,
the
sir. I am from
Philippines.
the Philippines.
Praise God. Praise God. My mother-in-law's from the
Oh,
Philippines. I've been there
really?
quite a few times. So we're family. We're family off the bat.
Mm, all right. So thank you so much. Once again, I'm not going to prolong the agony of waiting anymore. I think Sir Eric's already he's already on his presentation,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes,
So
sir.
take it away, sir.
Awesome. Sergey, thank you so much for the introduction. Thank you, everybody, for spending your time. Time is the most valuable asset that we have, and we can't get it back. So, thank you so much for investing into yourself. And I just want to give a quick shout out for Sylvester Jenkins for giving myself and Oliver this opportunity to be here to speak to you all. And I know that you will be greatly enriched by this information. I know that Oliver did a phenomenal job of setting everything up. I learned a lot. Thank you so much for that. And today, I just want to add some more uh, information to your knowledge and just to help you get better. I'm all about getting better in life. I'm a firm believer that you are a work in progress to the day you die. No matter where you come from, what religion you follow, your situation in life as of right now, don't ever stop getting better and working on your self improvement. And today, as we all been here for, is that we're becoming by overcoming. All right. And I am so fired up about this opportunity because I do believe that that's not about what you're doing in life, it's that who you're becoming through your adversity. And I'm going to talk some things about that today. So who I am, as Sergey said, I am a teacher. I am a high school teacher in the United States. I teach 10th graders, which is roughly around 14 to 15-year-olds, 16-year-old kids in the United States. So I get that interesting teenage phase where we hear all the emotions, all the what am I trying to do in life? Who am I? All those type of things, right? I am a father. I am a husband, more importantly, and I have two children. I've been married for around 5 years, and I have a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old son. Previously, I was a football coach, American football coach for the past 6 years. I've recently stepped away to spend more time with my family and to pour into my gift as a speaker and to really use what I've been blessed with to help others get better. Again, I'm all about getting better. All right. Thank you all so much for the welcome in the chat. I want you to put like a fire emoji. I want to put something in the chat that lets me know that you're ready to roll, that you're ready to get fired up. I know we're through a screen. I know we're all across the world right now, but you know what? We're going to make the best of this situation and we're going to come out of here better. So if you don't leave here better, then I don't know what you're doing because I'm here to help you. All right. So let's rock and roll. If you can't tell, I'm excited. This is who I am. Okay. So our learning objectives to today. So we're going to define adversity and understand the different categories of adverse circumstances. All right. Identify sources of adversity in their lives. Learn how to process their adverse circumstances, evaluate the ways in which they can take ownership, and develop a strategy, list of actions. And also, I want you to go ahead and put in the chat right now, put I rest, as you can see here, IREST. This is the acronym that we're going to be breaking down that I know for a fact has worked for me. And if you implement the information I tell you today, it will work for you as well. So we're going to be heavily talking about I rest. It stands for identify, reflect, evaluate, strategize, and tackle. Okay. I had to put the tackle in there for being a coach. This is who I am. All right. So I rest is going to be a great thing we're going to learn about today. So before we could talk about becoming who we want to become, before we could talk about overcoming adversity, we first had to define what adversity is. Okay, and according to Merriam-Webster, adversity is defined as a state or instance or serious or continued difficulty or misfortune. Difficulty or misfortune. Now, we all have been through some type of adversity. That's one thing guaranteed in life. There's no way you can go through life with some type of adversity. But here's the thing. Everybody's situation is different. Everybody goes through different types of adversity: mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, financial. And we can't put a cookie cutter experience on everything that we've been through. My adversity is different than yours. Something that I have done may work for you. Something you've done will work for me, and vice versa. So we have to know what adversity is, and we have to first figure out how this is going to help us. Adversity is subject to each person's situation, season of life. Being a parent, that adversity of trying to get my 3-year-old to do our daily routines is different than dealing with a 14, 15-year-old high schooler, but it's still prevalent in their lives. So we have to understand that all of us go through it, and we have to be able to walk with one another in order to help each other get better. Now, as you can see right here, we talk about adversity, right? I'm pretty sure for all the boxing fans in the world, even if you haven't watched boxing or know what boxing is, you've probably have heard of Mike Tyson. This guy right here, this is Iron Mike in the 80s. He was known as one of the baddest men on the planet. I mean, you could just, anything you hear about Mike Tyson is true. He's one of the greatest boxers of all time. He was a former heavyweight champ, and he is known as Iron Mike. Now, I don't know about you, but if I have a nickname called Iron Mike, that means I'm that dude. I'm that person that can knock you out, right? And as a matter of fact, he was known for knocking people out so fast that they wouldn't even get out of the first or second round. He was so intimidating. When he was walking into the ring, he already beat his opponent. When the opponent was there warming up, they saw Mike Tyson come up, and they're like, oh, it's a wrap. I'm done. Now, just how Mike Tyson's walking up, some of us view adversity that way. We're there in the ring of life, trying to get things going, trying to warm up, get ready to roll, put our plan together. And here comes adversity, and we see it. And we checked out. We lost before adversity even hit us. Okay. And I love this quote that he has that I live by. And I also tell my students and my former players, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. I want everybody to put a 1 in the chat to let me know if you've been punched in the mouth by life. And if you have, that's been okay. Just go ahead and put a 1 real quick, right? So everybody has been punched in the mouth by life. Adversity has hit us. But the question is, are you going to get back up? Now, as you can see here in the picture, we see my man getting knocked out. Later on, he gets up, but he lost. But he got up, so he didn't really lose. Biggest thing about adversity, you got to get up after it hits you, and you got to have a plan. And once you get hit by adversity, you got to get back up and get ready to roll. Okay. So as we talked about what adversity is, what it looks like in the ring of life, now we're going to talk about how we can actually put iRest together and learn how to get better. So the first thing about from iRest is, in order to overcome adversity, you have to know what it is and where it's coming from. Now, a couple of questions you need to ask yourself. Is my current adversity present? Is it something I'm dealing with from my past, or am I scared about the future? Now, I'll give you a quick story about that. I've been through some crazy things in my life with adversity. Coming from a divorced background, raised by a single mom, had an older brother, been through a lot of trauma in my life. My brother, for some odd reason, had this huge jealousy against me and was always trying to toughen me up. He thought that to make me a better man, he had to physically abuse me, right? At some points, it was threatened to beat me up. Sometimes he would try to smother me with the pillow, drown me if we were swimming. And as a matter of fact, at one point, he actually lit my face and arms and hands on fire to prove that I can be tough, right? So all this trauma has built up in my life through my past, and now it comes up in my present as a father. I'm afraid of being a dad. I'm afraid of being a husband. And I project some negativity and adverse emotions to the future of what's going to happen to my kids. So as you can see, trauma has a huge impact on your life, and going through adversity can implement that. But that's okay. We need to learn to grow from that and get better from that situation. Now, this is just a little extra bonus. What you can see here is called ACE study and its effect on trauma adversity. You can go ahead and Google this. It's called the Adverse Childhood Experience. Just to sum it up real briefly, it was a study done here in the United States where 2 doctors studied 17,000 individuals about trauma and things that they've been through in their life. And they came up with the quiz 1 through 10. And the lower number you had, the less risk are you for developing any type of diseases, bad habits, or what have you. The higher the number on that quiz, you are 2 to 3 times more likely to develop drug addiction, alcoholism, some type of lung disease, all those type of things. Now, for me, I'm a 7 out of 10. So I'm at one of the highest levels in this ACE quiz, which is basically pretty much saying, hey, you've been through so much trauma and adversity in your life, you're 2 to 3 times more likely to develop lung cancer, have addiction issues, alcoholism, all those things. So knowing my past helps my present so I can have a better future. Now, the key thing with this is, if you're going to dig deep, which I encourage you all to do at some point, you got to be ready to deal with those things that come up. Some of us bury trauma, and the next thing you know, we want to spend time dealing with it, and it comes out of nowhere. Well, you got to be in a safe place in order to dig that up and to deal with those things and process those things. And we're going to talk about some of those here in a second. So we talk about identify. You got to identify your adversity. From there, once you identify, you get a name to it, you have to reflect. You must take time afterwards and reflect on what happened. I've been doing that a lot this year in my current stage after going through the pandemic, being a teacher in high school, having to wear a mask, having to teach online, in person. I've had to deal with kids going through abuse at home, all kinds of things, right? So that has a huge impact on me, but I have to reflect and figure out, what am I feeling? I got to ask myself some questions, right? Why do I feel the way I do? Narrow down your emotion. Am I sad, anger, depressed? I encourage you all to Google this thing called the feelings wheel. I don't care where you're from or what have you, feelings wheel. Google that and look for images. It's this beautiful wheel with multiple colors. And it pretty much tells you, if I feel sad, it points me to another emotion and to another emotion. So we can narrow down what we're feeling and why we're feeling that way. So we want to narrow down what we're doing. And then from there, we can figure out the next steps in the process of recovery. So we identify how our adversity has helped affect us. We're reflecting on it to put more of a name to my emotions. And now we're going to talk about how we can evaluate and figure out a strategy to tackle the emotion. So evaluate. What are the main takeaways from your experience? After you identify, you reflect on it, now we can actually put together the pieces. Okay, what's going on with me and how can I get better? And there's a few categories in which you can evaluate your life, right? So, for example, physically, how is your body dealing with adversity? I don't know about you guys, but when I deal with adversity times, some stress, I get stress in my shoulders, my neck, I can't sleep, I get anxious. All these things happen, right? So your body's going to feel the things that you're going through. Even if it's not physically or anything like that, your body's going to take on that stress and that emotions and through that adverse situation. Emotionally, how do you release your stress, your emotional stress of life? Are you, when stress happens, do you go home and sit down on the couch, watch TV? Do you play cards? What are you doing? And is it healthy? Now, the thing is, a lot of times we go through stress in our lives emotionally, and we want to drink it away with alcohol. We want to use some type of drugs. We want to go to clubs or what have you, and we want to escape. Anything I can do to escape, the better, right? We want to binge watch TV or YouTube or what have you. We emotionally get away from ourselves, but we have to ask, how am I emotionally? How am I dealing with this stress? And what's going on with me? Another evaluation point is mentally. How is your mental stability? Are you feeling depressed or anxious? I don't know about you guys, but COVID has released a lot of depression and anxiety in my current situation. Being a high school teacher, dealing with these young teens, man, I have seen some huge, huge red flags with depression and all kinds of things. I'm a huge component and advocate for counseling. This is where counseling comes in. This is where reading the right type of books comes in. This is where relationally, the next one, you got to have the right people. I make it a huge impact every single day to let my students know I love them and I'm here for you. I have to teach the curriculum, the rigor, have to get them ready for finals and exams. That's going to come naturally. Not worry about that. I just want to make sure that they know when they walk into Mr. Hayes' classroom that I'm loved and I'm valued, and I'm going to be filled with good spirits and good energy while I'm here, and I'm going to get better. Okay, that's my huge component because I saw what COVID was doing to these young men and women. I saw what COVID was doing to the people around me and even myself. And I was like, we have to take care of our mental stability. We have to be able to face those things and get better. Relationally, how has stress affected your relationships with others? How has adversity affected it? Do you draw back when stuff goes on? Do you pour into people? Are you trying to stay busy so you don't have to deal with these emotions? What are your habits, right? If you don't have the right people around you, then we need to find those people. Okay, there's a reason why your circle of influence needs to be very small. And the older I get, the more I realize that. I'm a husband. I do not reveal all the things I go through with my wife to anybody. It's very few. I'm a father. I do not reveal all the things I'm going through as a father with a lot of people. It's very few. It's very few because we may not be on the same wavelength. We may not be able to agree on some things, or I may be talking to someone who has no idea what I'm talking about. So how can they help me? I need to talk to people who are going to help me get better, who've been through some things or have some great principles and advice. And then financially, the last evaluation piece of going through adversity. How has adversity affected your financial well-being? Regardless of where you're at, in the United States, the Philippines, Indonesia, wherever you may be, finances is heavily connected to your behavior and habits. When you're stressed out and when you're going through adversity, do you buy more things? Was it food? Is it water? I mean, is it alcohol? Whatever it may be. Is it something that you're wasting your money on? In the United States, we have a lot of people who buy things that they don't need. Right? We're kind of known for having these big cars, big this, big that. And it's like, well, why are you buying that? Is that really a need? Or are you trying to just fill a hole? You're trying to fill a void or something. So we want to be able to take care of yourself. And finances is one of the best ways that you can relieve some stress in your life while you're going through adversity. Don't act so quick to spend and buy things that you don't need. Be able to draw in and make sure you're okay. The second to last part of I rest is strategize. Okay, we talked about identifying. We talked about how you got to reflect on your emotions, evaluate. We got to ask some specific questions on what we're feeling. Now we got to put together a strategy. You cannot just go through life and expect things to change. Like Oliver was saying earlier, right? You can't go into your growth mindset without changing your behavior, right? It's like you can't expect to lose weight if you're not working out, if you're not eating the right things. It's just not going to work. So we have to come up with a strategy in order to help ourselves get better. Now, as I mentioned earlier, counseling is great. I've been through a couple of counseling sessions myself. In 2022, I look to get back on it. And it's just great to have a safe place to know where I'm heard, I'm valued, and I want you to get better. And I need a professional, right? Sometimes we can't just talk to our friends or what have you. That's great. But I need a professional to tell me, this is why you're feeling these things. This is how you cope with these things. Don't be so, don't be so upset with yourself. Give yourself some compassion, okay? Give yourself some compassion. Don't be so hard on yourselves. Life is tough, but we don't have to be harder on ourselves to make it harder. Join a support group, either in person or online. Now, because of COVID, a lot of these things are kind of harder, but this is where social media comes into play, right? This is where it comes to play to follow famous motivational speakers like Eric Thomas or Jeremy Anderson or Inky Johnson or myself and Oliver and Sylvester Jenkins. This is where it comes in to use our online community to help us to get better. I've learned a lot just from listening to Oliver earlier. I wrote those three things down. That's going to help me get better. And it's an online platform. You guys being here right now, that's helping you for the rest of your week and for the rest of your life. It's an online platform. So let's use our technology to help us get better. Read books on how to overcome adversity. I myself am coming out with a book in 2022. I know Oliver's got one and Sylvester's got some as well. Check those out. That's going to give you a step-by-step guide on how to get better and recover from adversity. Re-listen to this webinar. It's going to help you. Repetition is what counts. Doing these things daily is what's going to pay off in the end. Just not on Monday and not on Wednesday, but it has to be every single day, all the time, and it has to be consistent with what you're doing. Listen to podcasts and other media platforms on how to overcome adversity. Look, I'm a huge component of this. I listen to podcasts all the time. Secrets to Success by Eric Thomas. Next Level Speakers, Next Level Living by Jeremy Anderson, and a plethora of others. I myself have an IG live series every Monday. We talk about specific topics. Oliver's got an online platform as well. So does Sylvester. He's on podcasts. We're out here putting this stuff out here for you all to listen and to get better from. We're not doing it just for ourselves so we can hear ourselves talk. We're doing it to help others because we've been through some things, and how dare us not share our experiences so others can either avoid and learn from our experiences to get better. That's what we're all about. And last but not least, implement physical exercise. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm going through adversity, life is crazy, kids are sick, things are going on, exercise goes out the window, right? It's what's the quickest to eat, what's the quickest to take care of this pain here real quick, what fires do I need to put out right now? And physical exercise goes out the window. When all reality, physical exercise helps you deal with everything. If you're in better shape, you can deal with adversity better. If your body's clear, if you're releasing the stress through physical exercise, getting those awesome dopamine and other chemicals in your brain working, it's going to help your body get better. It's going to help your body deal with stress. And I'm preaching to the choir here. I need to do that for myself as a dealing with it, right? But even if you don't have a gym, no money for whatever, push-up, squats, walking, doing whatever you can, play some basketball, whatever it may be. Be physically active so you can release those stress, so adversity doesn't take you out of the game, like we saw earlier in that photo with Mike Tyson. And last but not least, coming from a American football background, I want to tackle my adversity. Take your adversity head on. Oftentimes there's two ways to deal with things a lot. Coming from a male point of view, how we're taught in society. Either passive aggressive, which means you don't say anything, you just stuff down in your emotions, in your heart, in your spirit, and then all of a sudden something hits you as a trigger and you explode, and everybody's going to get it. I've done this. I was raised passive aggressive, going through so much abuse. I didn't know how to communicate. Hey, this is not okay. I feel angry. I feel this. So I would either be quiet and take it all in and just shrug it off, laugh at it, or all of a sudden I'm breaking something. I'm breaking some sunglasses. I'm breaking a bottle. I'm punching the wall. I'm shaking this. I'm shaking that. Or I'm going off on my students. Like I snap it. I'm not cussing them out or anything, but I'm like yelling at them and giving all this pep talk. So I've got to face my adversity head on. Don't run away from what you're going through. Do not run away from it. Right? I don't know if you ever seen American football or even rugby for some of y'all overseas, but when the ball carrier is coming and you're a defender, you can't just turn left and run away from what's happening. That's not going to work. Even if you're scared, and 9 times out of 10, you're going to be scared of, I'm going to say that 10 out of 10, you're going to be scared of your adversity. It's going to frighten you, whether it's past, present, or you're scared of the future adversity to come. Whatever it may be, if you run away from it, it ain't going to help you any. You're still going to be in the same spot. You're still going to be scared. You're still going to be like, I don't know what to do with my life. So why not take it head on? Even if you get run over, get back up and keep on tackling your adversity. Do not stop until you have overcome it. Do you understand? I need y'all to put that in the chat. Put yes. Put yes right now. Say, yes, I need to tackle. Yes, I will overcome adversity. I need you to put that in the chat with me. Stay with me now. Stay with me. We're coming to a close here pretty soon. Feel the energy. Feel the good vibes, whatever you call it. I need you to put yes in the chat. You need to tell yourself you need to tackle this adversity. If you forget everything else, all you have to know is I got to tackle my adversity head on. Be consistent with your approach and continue to fight. Look, I don't know about you all, but I have been doubted so much in my life. As a matter of fact, just to share a quick story, when I was only a couple months old and I was in the crib still, my father was supposed to watch my brother and I, but he ended up falling asleep because he was working nights or what have you. And my brother, for whatever reason, I don't know if it was malicious intent, I don't know if he was being a 4 or 5-year-old and he was just being curious, but he took a bottle of water or a cup of water and he was pouring it in my face. Now I'm a baby. I can't control what's going on. So by the grace of God, my mom comes in and prevents from him pouring that bottle of water on my face. That sets the precedence of 18 years of living with that man. Being lit on fire, punch, try to be smothered, try to scare me, intimidate, all these things, right? But guess what? I'm still here today because I was able to tackle my adversity head on. I did not run away from it. And I've learned that if I run away from it, it's going to come up. If I don't deal with my emotions, what I went through when I was 5, 6, or 7, it's coming up when I'm 29, dealing with my kids, dealing with my students, dealing with my wife, my friends. If you keep on negating and neglecting the things you've been through, it's not going to get better. They're just going to fester and keep on coming up. I guarantee you, if you kind of reflect after this webinar and try to figure out why you are the way you are and what's been going on in your life, a lot of times it's because stuff happened when you're younger, whether it's your choice or it wasn't, it's having an effect on you right now. Now, whatever it may be, whose fault it may be, that's not the question. The question is, are you going to forgive that person or forgive yourself? Number one, you got to forgive in order to grow and get better and overcome your adversity. And are you going to tackle it? Are you going to be willing to look at the feelings wheel by yourself and be like, okay, I feel sad. I feel this. I feel this. I'll tell you right now, when I do it, I hurt. I don't like it. I feel like a child. I feel gross. I feel like a less of a man, but that's my ego speaking, not the reality of me taking on my adversity to get better. It's not about ego. I don't care about that. I care about tackling adversity. I care about getting better. Okay. So be consistent with your approach. Continue to fight. Never give up on yourself and those around you. Look, if you're a friend, if you're a husband, if you're a father, a wife, or whatever it may be, if you got children, people around you, lift them up. Life is hard, guys. Life is hard sometimes, and we need to be able to bring each other up. There's no point in pushing people down. I don't care where you come from or what ethnicity or cultural background. We have to lift each other up, regardless of who we are, what we're doing. We have to give each other a help. Reach out for help at times, and don't be ashamed to ask for help. Sorry, don't be ashamed to ask for help. This is a sign language for help, right? My daughter and my son speak sign language, and we're teaching them sign language. And all the time they say, help, help. Guys, we got to ask for help. It's not about ego. It's not about how people view you. It's about you getting better for you and for others. All right. Ask for help, seek help, no matter what it takes. Get better at that. All right, guys, coming to a conclusion. Just talk about some highlights here that we've talked about. I hope you all fired up as much as I've been. I'm ready to go. We have to identify what adversity is. Okay, we got to figure out what's going on. Know what type of adversity you're going up against. Is it past, present? Is it something you're scared about in the future? Let's put a name to it. Have family and friends as your support system. Look, that's huge. Families first, right? Close friends are first. And if you're not able to have those things, unfortunately, reach out to the online community. Instagram, you know myself, Sylvester, and Oliver are there. We will help you. We will be putting out positive things for you to help to get better. All right. We are here for you in any way we can. Always fight through adversity, regardless of what it is. Look, it ain't going nowhere until you tackle it. I promise you, it's going to keep on coming. So you better go ahead and just tackle it. Take the right position, give it everything it got until you overcome it. Keep on tackling it. Implement IRS when adversity hits. Look, we talked about it earlier. Identify, reflect, evaluate, strategize, and tackle. I rest. I know it sounds like 5 things, but if you say I rest, it really comes to light. So I rest. Using feelings wheel, get counseling. Look, all these things are free, y'all, for the most part. Okay. Feelings wheel, it's free on Google. Getting counseling, depending on your area and how it works. You might have to do it online if it's not available. Right? There's a will, there's a way. All right. There's a bunch of free material out there to help you get better and deal with your adversity. Now, in conclusion, guys, this is where you can reach me. Look, I'm here to help in anywhere I can. My email, Twitter, and IG is E20Speaks. Website is ehayes.org. Thank you all for your time. I pray and I know that this has blessed you, and I'm just honored. And what a privilege here to speak into your life at this moment in time. Guys, tackle the adversity. Let's get better from it. And like I always say, there's no restrictions in life, just adjustments. Thank you all for this time. Sergey, back to you, my man.
All right. So thank you so much for sharing with us your life experiences as well. All right, Sir Eric. And that was really fantastic presentation. I actually learned so much from you too. Right. So to become the best version of ourselves, then we must identify our adversities
Mm-hmm.
first. Then we also need to make a reflection, evaluate, and strategize things on how to overcome those adversities because you can't move forward if you aren't doing anything to make it right. And most importantly, tackle by continuing fighting and never give up, right?
Absolutely.
And with
Absolutely.
highlights as well. Anyway, so thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us, Sir Eric. And again, no doubt that our viewers once again learned so much from those experiences that you've had or you've shared with us. Interesting stories, beautiful insights, and so much takeaways from you. So once again, let's all give a virtual round of applause to Sir Eric Hayes.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate y'all.
Right. So may I request you, sir, and Sir Oliver, to please stay on the line for our question and answer later on. So
Absolutely.
thank you, sir. Right. So before moving on to the next part of our program, once again, may I request you all to please support IGP. All you have to do is to share, tag, comment, and mention your friends. We will give the e-certificate link in the comment box later. And if you have or if you face any problem, you can actually collect e-certificates directly from our website, www.eduigp.com. All right, so I guess we are now ready for our quiz. Right? So to our new participants, all you have to do is to type in on the search engine slido.com and type in IGP quiz, then add on your name that will appear exactly on your certifications. Okay. So far we have 16 participants, going 21, right? So again, to our new participants, all you have to do is to type in on the search engine slido.com and just type in IGP quiz, then add on your name that will appear exactly on your certifications. So 21, going 28, 29, so we have here on the screen, Ma'am Anna Marie Joy Mercado, Evelyn Waperi, Asha Kumar Adhikari, Eglan P. Chef Wu, Carmela Jaen. So I am hoping that I am pronouncing them correctly. Anyway, we're already on. We have already 30 participants. 31. Right, so we're going to start our quiz later on. So 32. All right, so let's start. So our first question is software that interacts with the user on a certain domain in a natural conversational way of using text and voice? A. Chatbot. B. Chatman. Is it chatbot or chatman? Right? So 94% says chatbot, and the correct answer is the chatbot. Okay, so let's now proceed on question number two. All right, so for leaderboard, we have Romel John C. Aquino. So far he's leading our quiz, followed by Anna Marie Joy A. Mercado and Romel Hernandez. Right, so for the next question, chatbot. It is an interactive medium of learning, just like a regular classroom. It allows students to learn though through online messages or voice call only. Again, for our options, we have online messages and voice call only. Right? So 100% says online messages. Now, the correct answer is, of course, the online messages. All right, so leading now is Anna Marie Joy A. Mercado, and followed by Romel John C. Aquino. Third is Romel Hernandez. If you wanted to display specific files while hiding others, you can blank, download files, or apply a filter. If you wanted to display specific files while hiding others, you can download files or apply a filter. Right? So 63% says apply a filter. And the correct answer is okay. So Anna Marie Joy A. Mercado, still our um, top one, followed by Romel John C. Aquino. Which types of files does Google Drive allow you to create and edit? Sheets or games? Which types of files does Google Drive allow you to create and edit? Is it sheets or is it games? 5 seconds. Right, so the correct answer is sheets. Right, so Alias Austria is now leading, followed by Rommel John C. Aquino. Rommel Hernandez is the third. Right, so for our fifth question, which of the following allows you to easily group and organize your files in the Google Drive? Folders, collections. Which of the following allows you to easily group and organize your files in Google Drive? Folders or collections? Okay, so the correct answer is folders. Right, so let's check the leaderboard. We have Alias A Austria, who is leading at the moment, and followed by Romel John C. Aquino, and still Romel Hernandez for the third. Google Drive is a storage facility of your Google account. True or false? Again, Google Drive is a storage facility of your Google account. Is it true or false? Right? 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so the correct answer is true. Okay, let's check our leaderboard. Romel John C. Aquino, he's leading at the moment. Okay, so Jamalyn V. Rivera and Alias A. Austria. Which of the following file types can be uploaded to Google Drive? Games or documents? Again, which of the following file types can be uploaded to Google Drive? Games or documents? 3, 2, and 1. Right, so 97% says it's documents, and the correct answer is documents. Let's check our leaderboard. Still, Romel John C. Aquino is leading, followed by Gemalyn Rivera and Lamberto S. Pilatan Jr. Storage capacity for the personal account. Is it 15 gigabytes or 100 gigabytes? Storage capacity for the personal account. Is it 15 gigabytes or 100 gigabytes? 4, 3, 1, 0. Right, so 86% says 15 gigabytes, and the correct answer is 15 gigabytes for personal account. Okay, so still Ramel John C. Aquino is our leading. Okay, Jamalyn V. Rivera and Elias Austria for the third. And second to our last question. Google Drive is available in mobile phone. Yes or no? Google Drive is available in mobile phone. Yes or no? 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 3, 2, and 1. Of course, 97% says yes, and the correct answer is yes. Romel John C. Aquino, still our leading. Jamalyn Rivera and Lamberto S. Pilatan Jr. And for our last question, Google Drive can accommodate non-Google format files. Is it a yes or a no? Google Drive can accommodate non-Google format files. Is it a yes or no? Right? So the correct answer is yes. Okay, we can accommodate. Okay, so for our leaderboard, okay, congratulations to our top 10 winners. Okay, so for our first place, we have Sir Romel John C. Aquino, followed by Lamberto S. Pilatan Jr. Our third place is Maverick V. Clavecilla. Then we have Romel Hernandez. And next we have, I can't see it. Right. So Romel Hernandez for the fourth place. And for the fifth place, we have Melanie Obedoza Mara. And then we have Julie Aguilar, Dennis James for um, number seven, Dr. Hez Sudhakar Wak Chaure, right? I hope that I pronounce it correctly. Eighth place, and Marigold Alog, ninth place. And for our 10th place, we have, I don't see it. For our 10th place, yeah, I can't see it. So, like, anyway, congratulations to our top 10 winners. Okay, so I think, yeah, it's visible already. It's Jessa Maylene A. Bangalat. Right, so congratulations to each and every one. Right, so at this juncture, okay, so let's now call back once again on the screen our amazing speakers, Sir Oliver and Sir Eric Hayes, for our question and answer portion. All right, so audience, all right, so welcome back once again, Sir Oliver and Sir Eric.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so audience, you can start sharing your question. If you have any confusion or any clarification, or if you wanted to learn more on our topic or discussion today about overcoming, then you can share it with us, right? So once again, to our viewers, you can start sharing your question with us. If you have any confusion or any clarification on our discussion and our topic for today regarding becoming by overcoming, then you can start sharing it with us.
Mhm.
While your questions are coming in, congratulations to the quiz winners.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
that's no questions means everybody understood it. That's good.
Yeah, ears were open. They were dialed in.
Yeah, we
Good
don't
stuff.
have a question yet,
Good stuff. Good stuff.
right? So, do we have questions slash questions? Yeah, I think that means they understand the topic very well.
That's excellent. I want to
Mm-hmm.
second. I want to second what Eric said. Oh, there's a question that came in, so we'll do that.
Ooh, like, so how could we overcome our anger with the people whom we consider as a friend and have betrayed us? Well, you first have to identify what you are angered by, like what caused you to be angered by, and you need to confront them about how they betrayed you. Okay, so if they're your real friend, you can have a heart-to-heart conversation, and this is scary. It's not very comfortable. You can approach that individual, right? My wife is my best friend, and trust me, when I don't do something right, she lets me know, and vice versa. And that's something I have had to work with in our marriage to say, hey, I don't like it when you do this, or when you did this, I'm this bothered me. I'm hurt by that. Be specific on how you feel, and then present that information to that person, right? So process, write these things down. I feel this way, and this is how I feel when you did this or didn't do this, and then present that full package to that person that hurt you. And if they don't like it, well, it's not your fault. Okay, you're responsible for how you feel and communicating that to others so they know how to get better from that situation. And here's the deal: some people may not like it and point fingers back. And if that happens, that probably shows you that, hey, they're probably not the right friend for you. You don't need friends to point fingers at you. You need friends to take ownership and accountability, and then uh, make amends and learn from that and how they can be a better person and help you in the future. But confront that person. That's what you got to do. And then let the chips fall where they may after that. But do your part of confronting that person with how they hurt you.
Yeah, I totally agree. So, like, how about you, Sir Oliver? What is your insight on this question? How could we overcome our anger with the people whom we considered as a friend and had betrayed us?
I agree with what Eric said, and I would just to kind of piggyback off of that. The thing you have to really be cognizant of is that anger eats away at you, and so to remain angry at this person really does you a disservice. And so again, with Eric saying, confront that person, and as you're confronting that person, also work on uh, your anger towards this person. And here's a hard answer. Part of it is going to be you actually extending forgiveness to this person, even if they may not deserve it or may not seek it from you, because that's going to be a way to start processing your anger, because you don't want to remain angry and have this thing inside you that's eating away at you and is not allowing you to overcome or to become what you need to in order to keep moving forward. And so I definitely agree with Eric, and use that as a way, that forgiveness as a way to allow that anger to dissipate within you.
Okay, so thank you so much for answering our first question. That is coming from Sir Lamberto Pilatan. Right, so do we have another question? So, again, audience, you can share your question with us.
Oh, I think I
There's
saw
one more
one
down
more
there.
pop in.
I don't know, I'm seeing it late on my screen. Do you have
Hmm.
another question, sir?
Yes, I saw one come back in. How do people manage when the going gets tough?
Mm.
Yeah, that's a good question.
How do people manage when the going gets tough? Okay.
I'll say for me, and I can only use myself for an example. It's been helpful for me, and this is something that I had to learn over time. I would often try to handle tough situations by myself,
Mhm.
or I'd feel like I'm the only person that's going through it. So I'm sitting here just going around and around in my brain, and it's not helping at all. And I've realized that it's important to have, it doesn't have to be a huge circle of people, but it's important to have somebody that you can create some level of intellectual intimacy with, if you will, that you can
Mhm.
bounce this thing off of. I can go to Eric and be like, "Yo, E, man, I'm thinking about this thing, and man, it's eating away at me, man. I just want to get it out, man." And Eric may not even have a solution for it, but the opportunity for me to just unload that helps in the processing and helps me in the process of overcoming. And so I would say first thing, look to, to find some, and you got to be careful who it is, obviously,
Hmm.
but look to find someone that can be a confidant, can be someone that you can just kind of springboard that thing off of. And then on top of that, I would say, listen, change your mindset about the outcome of that tough time, because things happen in seasons. And so the tough time that you're experiencing right now is
Hmm.
probably not going to last for the entire rest of your life. And so envisioning what it looks like to be outside of that sometimes gives you the motivation to keep moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with Oliver and talk about having the right tribe, right people around you. And you got to make sure that you're not revealing things to people who don't value it. Just like the gentleman earlier, um, at the end of the day, it's about digging deep within yourself. Um, for me, it's about my faith that helps me out the most, my family and the people around myself. But at the end of the day, you're in control of you. No one can tell you how to deal with certain things. They give you suggestions, but it's up to you to take that advice. So if you read anything or watch any videos, you're either going to take it in or you're not. So at the end of the day, you got to, what I mentioned earlier, you got to tackle the situation. There's only one way to face it, and that's to face it. So and take it day by day. Don't People have a habit of, oh, this is going to last forever. But guess what? Just like in nature, the storm doesn't last forever. The sun comes out, right? And you got to ask yourself, what am I in control of, and why is this so tough? Is it tough because I'm putting myself into tough situations for no reason? It might be it. It may be the place you live is tough. And if that's the case, then how can I get out of here? And you got to have to put an action plan into place in order to get out of that situation. That's what I would say.
Yeah, it's good.
All right. So thank you so much for answering our second question. And I think we have our third question here. If any person repeatedly doing anger, how to forgive again and again?
Mm.
So again, if any person repeatedly doing anger, how to forgive again and again?
Listen, these are some good questions, man. They're tough questions, but they're real life questions, and I love
Yeah.
that. Here, I'll give you two things. One thing comes from my background as a man of faith. So it says that you're supposed to forgive. When it was asked how often should we forgive, and it said 7 times, and Jesus said no, 70 times seven. Right. So you should be willing to forgive somebody who has wronged you more than once. But let me say this: forgiveness does not automatically mean that you get re-access.
Hmm. Yeah.
So because somebody's done me wrong and I forgive them, it doesn't mean that our relationship has to continue the way that it did before, because it may not be. Remember when I was talking earlier, some of the adjustments I had to make was I had to actually let go of some folks. I had to let go of some people. And so I had to forgive them because the forgiveness allows me to heal. But at the same time, I could not continue to be around these guys because it wasn't allowing me to overcome what I needed to overcome and to become what I needed to become. So you may forgive this person, but don't give them the opportunity to continue to do damage to you by
Hmm.
granting them re-access. So those are the two sides of the coin for me.
No, no, that's 100%, man. So yes, you gotta forgive, right? I'm married. I forgive my wife that she has done things that she may have said to me, and vice versa. But I'm not doing the same thing. And if I'm doing the same thing, that's a problem, right? And that's a commitment, lifelong commitment. There's no getting out. That's not how we believe marriage to be. So if they continue to cause problems, we gotta have to start asking some deeper questions. Is it physically? Is it mentally? Is it spiritually? Is it emotionally? Financially? What is it? You got to narrow it down, and especially if it's physically. I'm just gonna say that. Be honest right now. That makes no sense to stay with somebody and to be physically abused over and over, or emotionally, or whatever it may be. I don't care what faith you come from. All right. If it's physically harming you or your children, you got to go.
Yep.
My wife and I both come from physically abusive backgrounds, and that's the United States. That's not okay. That's not okay. So um, you got to be able to get out of that situation. Now, can you heal and forgive later on? Absolutely. But what Oliver was saying was 100% true. You don't get access, right? Just because I forgave you. Forgiving you is for really forgiving me, so I can help heal from the situation that you caused onto me, right? For example, I have a brother who I have no relationship with because he has abused me so much in the past, and he's not emotionally, mentally okay. He's actually schizophrenic. So there's no way he's going to gain access into my heart, into my life, because of the damage he has done or could do. All right. So yes, you need to forgive, but there's a limit, and not necessarily to your forgiveness, but to your access. You can't keep on forgiving people and let them back in all the time. That's not how it works. It's not a revolving door.
Yeah.
All right,
Sure.
so thank you so much. All right, so here's our fourth question from Ma'am Maria Teresa Yilao. So, Sir Eric, is it right to keep quiet when you were hurt by someone?
Absolutely not. But you need to think on how you're going to voice what's going on with you. Um, and that's where the feeling wheels comes into play. That's where journaling, write down exactly how you feel, and then express that information to the person that's hurting you. Um, you can't stay in a toxic environment and expect things to change, right? Um, if it's at work, if it's at home, you have to let that person know how you're doing and how you're feeling. And then also, you have to be ready for what may happen from it. For example, if it's your job that's hurting you and you voice your information, you voice how you're feeling, well, you have to be ready that you may lose your job or your friendship or what have you. So write those things down, get it specific. It's not okay to keep quiet at all, never. But you have to be able to express those feelings in a emotionally stable way. Don't write things down and start cussing and yelling at somebody. That does nothing, right? They don't hear the message. Write your things down, express them in a calm and professional and mature way, and then be ready for what may happen next, and just be open to that. But also know that whatever decisions you make, it's what's best for you and your family if you have family, and be willing to adapt to what happens after that.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. So, do you have any insight in this question, Sir Oliver?
Um,
So, for you, is it right to keep quiet when you're being hurt by somebody?
it's not, and Eric said it. Eric said it in a phenomenal way. It's not right to keep quiet. It is important that you are voicing what's happening with you, because here's what happens when you suppress and when you hold in, again, like with the anger, it does something to you internally, right? Suppression often leads to resentment.
Mm-hmm.
Resentment leads to a certain level of anger that continues to build and fester within you, and it causes you to make certain decisions and have certain ideologies and a mindset that isn't going to be conducive to overcoming. So
Yeah.
it's important to say something.
Okay, so thank you so much. Right, so do we have another question? I think we don't have question anymore. And yes, I guess that's the end of our question and answer portion. Okay, so I think that concludes our webinar for today. Right. So thank you so much, Sir Oliver and Sir Eric, for
Thank you.
those meaningful answers you shared and imparted with us today. So once again, never-ending gratitude to you both, okay, for sharing your precious time with us today. So before we finally end up our webinar, any final words from you, Sir Oliver and Sir Eric?
Um, Well, if I can, if you don't mind, I just saw a question
Yeah.
pop up, so I just wanted to address that just real quick. It said, "What should we do if our mindset is against the others, but benefits others as well?"
Mm.
Now, that's good, and I'm gonna make some
Mhm.
assumptions here because there's not a lot of context. But if your mindset it, if your mindset goes against other folk, you have to evaluate. Here's what you have to evaluate with your mindset. You have to evaluate what are the things you're trying to overcome and what are the things that are important to your growth and development. And you can't get caught up in whether it benefits somebody else or whether it's acceptable to somebody else or whether it goes against what somebody else is doing, because if you're going to make your decisions based on that, sometimes you find yourself doing some things that go against what you're trying to become or that go against your values. And so you really got to make sure that whatever it is that you're doing, the mindset that it aligns with your values, it aligns with your vision, and it aligns with your goals first.
Mhm.
Everybody else is going to have to fall into line with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Whatever your mindset is, it's got to be a growth mindset. Number one, you got to always seek to get better, no matter what you're doing. And number two, as you're growing, you're gonna find out real quick that if the people around you are willing to grow as well. It's like running a race. The only people that keep up with you that are running a race are either people right next to you running the same speed or running faster than you.
Mhm.
You never want to run away from people. People are slower than you, right? So it's all about having a growth mindset. Be around those who are having the same mindset or have a higher mindset than you, and then attach yourself to those people as long as they're in the same principles and have the same values. There's people who are growing in our industry as speakers, but no knock to them. I'm not going to latch myself onto because I don't have the same values and principles as they do, or don't agree with what they're doing and how they do it. But I'm gonna keep growing. And as you grow, others will continue to follow you, and you'll find your tribe.
Yeah,
So just keep growing.
agreed.
Right. So thank you so much for answering our final question. Yeah, it actually didn't appear on my screen. So like anyway, thank you so much for that. Any final word to our viewers, Sir Oliver and Sir Eric?
Final final words. Listen, I'll say what I said in the beginning. You have a purpose, you have a passion, you have a path. And with a little persistence, you can discover that. Understand that you are here on this earth for a reason. Look to find out what that reason is, change your mindset, adjust where you need to adjust, and overcome and be great.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm gonna just reference my IG Live series. It's the pain, process, and purpose. Through the pain of adversity, you go through a process, and through that process, you discover your purpose on this planet. Don't just let your adversity define you. Don't let it win. Tackle that thing head on, and continue to get better. And the person you become is a person you're gonna love once you do those things. So keep on growing.
Right. So thank you so much once again to our amazing speakers, Sir Oliver C. Marcel and Sir Eric Hayes from the United States of America. So thank you so much to you both, sirs.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you,
So
Sir Jake.
thank you.
Appreciate
We've
y'all.
learned so much from you too. So like anyway, dear knowledge seekers, I would love to thank you all for attending our session for today. So like hopefully, you've learned something new and something interesting today. Please leave a review or recommend our page if you learned something wonderful on our discussion. Once more, do not forget to collect your e-certificates and to give a check-in with IGP. Please spread the information with your friends, and we hope to see you all on our next webinar. So thank you so much for staying with us. So once again, I am Sir Jason Esumang saying thank you, be safe, and stay happy always. Thank you.